It's time.
Hey you guys, I'm coming to you semi-live from Liberal Arts Room 121. We have a new set of equipment in there, a tool I'm really excited about, one I think that will really help enhance our online and our face-to-face courses. We have a piece of Crestron equipment which will allow you to record your lectures. So if you have a hybrid course or face-to-face course and you want your online students to be able to take advantage of it, all you need to do is record your lecture at a particular time. You can also come in on a weekend or in an evening. We'll make the room available to you. You can come in and try it out. Now what's really cool, let's see if I can get this right because this is only my second time doing this. On my right, I think you should see a PowerPoint presentation. If you don't see it on my right, it's over there on my left. Okay, now let's see if we can do something else here. We should be able to go in and adjust the camera settings. So we can zoom out, and you can see more of the room and the board. Or you can zoom in and see my wonderful, beautiful, smiling face, right? Okay. Now we can also change the camera. Oh, no, too quick, sorry. Didn't mean to make you sick. Let's come on back here. And we can make adjustments that way. Now I believe that there are a few of you that would rather do the recording without your face being seen on camera. And that's okay, we can do that too. Sorry, I'm still playing with the camera. I'm trying to do this slow enough that I don't make you sick while I do it. It takes a little bit of getting adjusted to. Okay, so now I think we're good there. And we can adjust the layout. And we can go either full screen camera, which you should be able to see now, or I can go back and do full screen presentation, which you should see now. Okay, so I think this is a great tool. I'm really excited about the possibilities. I really want to encourage you to take advantage of it. It's really easy to use. Just take a moment to meet with Gerald and his staff. They can orient you to it and then set up a time for you to use it. All right, now I have one more thing I want to show you. We're going to use this tool to do the next segment of our division meeting.
Things that make you go, Things that make you go,
You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say,
Things that make you go,
A while back I had the opportunity to hear a speaker present. And it was really pretty thought-provoking and inspiring. So I thought I would bring that back to you and kind of raise the question with you to see what you thought about it. It was kind of one of those things that made me go, and hopefully it'll do the same for you. Now, the speaker was discussing another person's legacy and how that person went about and actively pursued leaving a very positive legacy. And so, you know, that got me thinking, what is the legacy that I'm leaving behind? I knew at some point that I wanted to be a scientist and an engineer. And then along the way I decided I wanted to help students, but I never really thought about quantifying or evaluating the legacy that I might be leaving. So I thought I would do that with you. So in looking back, what are people going to say when I retire? Or better yet, what are people going to say when you retire? Actually, let's take it a step further. What are people going to say the day after you retire? Because we all know nice things get said at your retirement party, but the next day is when the truth comes out. So, what will your colleagues say the day after you retire? How about who? Never saw him on campus. Or nice person, students really liked him or her. Or better yet, that person was really dedicated. They changed lives. Many students wouldn't have been successful if that person hadn't been there. My personal favorite, kept to his or herself, did the hours and was out. You know, what will students say? How about dream killer? The person just really got on me and just crushed me, and that was it. Or I survived. It was a tough class. I survived. Or better yet, he made me work. Or she. And they were right there with me, working just as hard as I was, trying to make sure that I understood the material and got through the class. I'm not in the major anymore. I got an A, but I really wasn't ready for the next set of classes. Spoke down to me, made me feel stupid, made me feel like I couldn't do it. Best thing that ever happened to me. Oh, here's another good one. Hot chili pepper, straight from ratemyprofessor.com. What do you want your legacy to be? And I think it's safe to say that, you know, we're all here because we want to help students. So what do you want your legacy to be? Then the next step is, what are you doing? Well, let me back up. Keep in mind, no eulogy is due to a man who simply does his duty and nothing more. And that should say person. So the person who comes in just does their work and is out. So what are you doing to make it happen? Now, yeah, that's Mark. And Mark, I apologize. I know you dress much better than that when you come to work. Mark is one of the best dressed people I ever see on campus. But what are you doing to make it happen? Of course, you're coming in, you're teaching, you're working with students. You're staying current in the field. You're going out, you go to conferences, you take courses, you're staying current. You refine your teaching techniques. You collaborate across campus to improve your teaching styles, to be on top of the issues that are related to students. You establish a mutually beneficial relationship with students. That way you know when you're in class and the student isn't quite getting it, they're able to feel comfortable saying, you know, sir, ma'am, I'm not quite following you. Can you explain it to me further? And then that way you know, okay, I've got to try something else to get this material across to the student. That's a mutually beneficial relationship. How do you know that you're effective? Well, we use assessments. The more students that get A's, the more effective we believe we are. Like I said earlier, we get plenty of testimonials from students. We get emails, We get student feedback that tells us, we're doing a good job. We're relating with some of the students. We do our evaluations. We have peer review evaluations. We have our SLOs. Those things are all forms of feedback for us. And then, of course, there's Rate My Professor. And no, I do not go and look you guys up on Rate My Professor. I did do it once for me, though. Many of you have indicated a desire to have more data because all of these are limited in scope. So we need to develop new ways of looking at and assessing how we're doing in the classroom. And I also wanted to show you what it looks like when there's writing on the board. And if it appears that it's a little slanted, it could very well just be my writing style. But what I'm hoping is that you all will join me in becoming an educational stud. And by stud, I mean someone who is student-centered, someone who's always focused on improving student success. And if you haven't always been that kind of person, today is a perfect day to do that. Never put off tomorrow what you can do today, right? And today we have a good opportunity to do just that. Following this meeting, you'll have discussions that can very well impact student success. And so my hope is that as you move forward, you will be student-centered and focused on their success. Be uncomfortable. Students come to us with very different learning styles than they had just 5 years ago. And so we always need to be adapting and adjusting our teaching styles to meet those different demands. Dream along with your students. There's nothing more impactful than for a student to feel that their teacher's dream is their dream as well. And so I guarantee you, if you do these things, you will leave a legacy that will outlast your colleagues' memory of you. You will impact future generations for that particular student. So, okay, one final set of questions. 70% is usually considered a C, and we generally use that as a minimum performance standard to pass a class. Is your standard for yourself lower or higher than that? Is 70% an acceptable performance standard for program completion and transfer rates? At what point does your internal standard cause you to actively seek out new ways to improve student success rates? When I was working directly with students, I thought I was pretty good. I had enough students telling me that I did a good job that I didn't give it much thought. It wasn't until I was required to gather data on my students and their successes that I really began to see that I truly had done a good job preparing students. It's important to not only look back, but to look forward as well to assess true impact. With that in mind, I had some data gathered for you to review. I realize that there are many reasons why data look a certain way, and I'd like to have you to review the data and reflect on how you fit into it. I want the data to be used as a place to start the conversation, to converse about things like, is our curriculum truly aligned? Are we using the proper assessment techniques? Do our prerequisites really prepare students for the next class? That data should drive a cycle of discovery. I've given you only a small sample of the data that could be gathered. My hope is that you'll develop more requests for data on your own. I want to make it clear that the data gathered is not for evaluation purposes. Where appropriate, the instructors were given secret identifiers.